Hey, how's it going, everybody? Gabriel Santiago here. This is the Speaking of Harmony podcast, and this is episode 39. All right, before we go into today's subject, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the little bell, turn notifications. This is all my social media stuff. Don't forget to hit the like button, it helps a lot with the video. And also, don't forget to sign up for the mailing list. The link is here in the video description. All right, today's gonna be a quick one, but sort of answering a question I got a couple episodes ago when we talked about the Milton Nascimento, low boards, and all this beautiful music, where there's a interesting trait to that, which is one type of chord, right? Just one class of chord, just either major chord, major 7 chords all the way, and minor 9, 11 chords all the way. And people really dug that episode, but also people asked me, besides the playing that I was doing, playing the harmonies, they asked how would I go about approaching the solo. How would I improvise over said sequence, like either all major keys, chords, or like minor 9 kind of chords and stuff like that on the song. So it's kind of parallel motion and stuff like that. But even though, so we're going to talk about that, but let's start actually. But even though it's parallel, but there's so many approaches we can do with this, but I'll just stick with one thing I was practicing today actually, and then it was worth talking about that. There's so many aspects you can definitely, although it's parallel chords and stuff, you can definitely get some hashtag voice leading into that as well. But the particular approach I'm going to talk about today is I'm going to take one of those songs I was talking about, the Trem Azul, like the Blue Train, which is all the major chords, right? I'm going to talk a little bit about that. One thing that I would say that I mostly encourage people would be to really kind of know where you are in an instrument in terms of the scales you're using, right? And not be jumping around, because this is just parallel major chords, major 7, but it doesn't mean you have to be just jumping around doing the same kind of, draw, right, with the scale and stuff, patterns that you're using. One thing that I would like to start with right away when facing something like that, actually, how do I combine those things? How do I apply some kind of voice leading? How I stay where I am in the region, in the instrument region, so I don't jump around, right? So I'll probably do, let's say, just a review, the progression is D major, right? Major 9, B flat, major, F major, C major. So that's it. D major, B flat, F, C. So that's what we have to deal with, right? So of course you can do all major scales, but you can also use the Ionian theme, but you can also use Lydian, right? With the sharp 4. They all work, basically basic sounds. We're just not gonna go crazy with the scales, just kind of basic sounds. So the point here is to actually show you guys that you can stay where you are and not be jumping around using different patterns on the scales. So let's say for the first one, C major, right? I'm gonna stick around here, right? Stick around here. Then, actually it's D major, sorry, D major. So D major, I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna stick around here. And then B flat. So I'm gonna do B flat Lydian, right? Kind of playing F major, but B flat Lydian if you wanna call it. Right? And then F major and C major, I'm going to play basically the same scale. For F major, I'm going to play F Lydian, which will be equal to play C major. So, right? And then for the C major, right? C major for both chords. So I am staying pretty much here in this region, see? So that's the go. And then I'm going to advance here to more region like this, and then some like this. But I'm going to go through all these chords and stick around where I am, so I don't need to be jumping around. That's, I guess, the point and argument of the podcast today. So for that, I did program a little play along so we can here in context, right? And again, bear with me with all that funny business here of me dragging files around. I'm gonna try to drag one closer so we can do that. So I'm gonna be sticking around using those scales, but really kind of close here, so you can see. Okay, it's gonna be some count, and then D major, B flat, F, C. Don't forget the sequence. Here you go. 2, 1, 2, see? So I basically stuck around here. I wasn't moving a lot, and I was going through all those chords, right? With no need to be jumping around. I'm just using different regions for the scale, different fingerings, right? So for the D, I was kind of using this, right? And B flat leading. Right? And then F major, F leading, and then C major, which is the same scale, right? 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 So that's what I was using, right? Of course, there are a bunch of factors that I'm putting in, motivic development, common notes, voice leading, there's all this stuff. But I wanted to focus specifically on just talking about how to manage scales with progressions like that kind of force or make you a tendency to be kind of jumping around to play parallel scales, right? Because the chords are parallel, right? Same kind of color. But you see that even when I'm comping on the piano, I'm looking for the best voice leading with the chords to not be moving around shapes. See, I'm doing something like that. See, always looking for the notes that connect these chords, right? So now we're gonna move over here to this region. So I can probably play D major kind of here, right? Right? And then B flat leading. Right? Then F major leading, F leading, and then C major union, which is the same scale, C major. Right? Or C. Right? That's the finger I'm using. Let's play through that here and see what happens. Now moving along here, but see that I kind of elected that region to stay in, so I'm not gonna go here or here. Let's see what happens. Counting again, and it started. something like that, right? You see that if I'm really aware where I am, I can just kind of transit through all this stuff, but I'm not moving that much. That's the goal of, of the episode today, just kind of show you guys that. And then, I can even come here, over here, to the, higher part of the instrument, and then I can do, let's say on C major, I can do just here, and then B flat Lydian can go right, and then to F Lydian C major I can stick around here. See? Let's see what happens. So I'm playing over here, same deal, same drill. Let's see what happens. Okay, here's the counting again. 2, 1. Little screw up there at the end, huh? Gotta practice that stuff. Anyway, so you got the point, right? The idea here is that you can pretty much stay in a region, and it doesn't matter what kind of chords or whatever kind of sequence of progression. You can stay where you are. You don't need to be like jumping around. You just have to look. You just have to map, basically do some mapping or whatever mode or scales you're going to do, and then be kind of aware of how they are moving, how you're moving from one to another, and looking for those connections. So, let's say in the first case I use, this kind of shape for D, right? And then I was just, instead of playing B flat Lydian, let's say over here, I didn't play it here, I played here. So I did, see? And then F Lydian C major, I didn't come here, whatever, I stay here. See? Same thing here, I was doing. Alright? And then here the same thing. That's the idea, is trying to stay connected to the progression, but don't be kind of a slave to it. That you have to like be following parallel kind of movements. The harmony is parallel, great. Even though you see that I'm looking for voice leading all the time, but I'm phrasing over the scales, but just kind of stuck in one region. And this is just a mere exercise, right? It doesn't mean that you have to play like this. I'm saying this is a good drill. This is a good exercise to make you think and develop your ideas in one region, and then kind of letting loose and go to the next region, and then letting loose and go to the next region, and then to the point that you don't have limitations on regions. You can just play, right? So then you can use whatever you want, right? Let's see if I can actually make I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this thing. Let's see if this is gonna work or not ruin my whole thing. Oh, I think it worked. So I'm gonna do another one a less run, but now kind of free of regions to kind of, exemplify how you can hold this, you practice this way, and then when you let it go, you don't just immediately go, crazy with the regions. You kind of take your time to develop this solo. That's the whole idea, right? Let's go to the last one. Good. See, I developed this solo, and what helped me was actually be really aware where I was in whatever region of the instrument I was. So I wasn't really worried about, oh man, I gotta make that change, I gotta make that chord. I was pretty aware of the regions and what could I do to make that transition, all those transitions is smoother, right? So I could advance the ideas. So the ideas get into the forefront, and I don't have to be worried about, oh man, I gotta do this. But of course, for that, you gotta practice these regions. You gotta practice these scales, and in practice in these regions, specific regions. So when you kind of let loose, you can develop a solo and really kind of focus on the shape of the solo, on the story you want to tell. I guess that's the whole point, right? So I hope you like that. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the little bell thing, notifications. This is all my social media stuff. Don't forget to sign up for the mailing list. And I hope you liked the lesson, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.